Ladies and gentlemen and boys and girls, from Lima Shenanigans of 1977, it's Tuesday, and you know what that means. It's time for the NXT Event Center Wrestling Report. And now here's the man that will bring you all the wrestling happenings from the WWE Superstars of tomorrow, Eric M. Lima.
Thank you very much, Mr. Announcer, sir. Well, hello there, everyone. Welcome to yet another episode of Lima Shenanigans, 1977, episode 2409. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. We're going to talk about what happened on NXT 20 minutes ago. It's been over since then on the CW network. A lot of things have happened. You know, NXT moved the venue to Houston, Texas. As a lot of stuff went down, I will explain what happened. But beforehand, I want to welcome a new subscriber to our channel, ladies and gentlemen. That's right, I discovered this guy, when he commented on my video about the Red Sox first half of the season on Big BBE's recent episode of Big Boston Ballersby. His name is Mouthpiece. All in capital letters, separate, M-O-U-F-P-E-A-C-E. That's Mouthpiece. Separate letters, all capitalized, and I want to say welcome Mouthpiece to my channel. I hope you enjoy my content. If you have any questions, please feel free to write them out in the comments, and I do appreciate you. Thank you for your subscribe and support, and I subscribed you back, by the way, I believe. So if you like Boston sports, or if you're, I know this guy's a big Celtics fan, so if you're a Boston Celtics fan, go to his channel, subscribe today. All right? So, Mouthpiece, shout out to you, my friend. Thank you. And aloha shakabra. All right? A little crush there for you. Let's talk about wrestling. Speaking of wrestling, speaking of crush, let's talk about wrestling, shall we? I'm going to talk about what happened on NXT. It started out with Vic Joseph and Corey Graves, but where's Booker T? Booker T wants to make a grand entrance. He comes out. He talks about what the matches are happening. And so they're going to kick it off with an 8-person mixed tag matchup. In one corner, you got the Culling. Looks like Tina Paxley is a member of the Culling, as her and Izzy Dame also will team up with Nico Vance and Shawn Spears, the leader of the Culling, to go up against the team of the NXT Tag Team Champions, Hank Walker, Tank Ledger, a.k.a. Hank and Tank, the Women's Speed, and the Women's North American Champion, Sol Ruca, and one of my new favorite girls from Australia. That's right. I've been crushing on Australian women. I don't know why. And Rhea Ripley's starting to be a little attractive, too. I'll have to admit that right now. But not as beautiful as Timeless Tony Storm and Harley Cameron. I'll tell you one thing. But this young lady, Zarya, I'm starting to like her as well. Anything for redheads. I don't know. Who knows with me. I love the women in wrestling. And this was a heck of a matchup. And, Zarya and Sol Ruca trying to copy Hank and Tank, which I think is hilarious. But then the lights went out while Zarya was having a scrum with Tatum Paxley in the ring. And I believe Shawn Spears snuck Tatum Paxley's doll to her. And during the lights out, Dark State made an appearance, but when the lights went back on, it seems like Tatum Paxley used the doll to hit Zarya in the eye with, and ended up pinning Zarya to give the Culling the win in that 8-person tag. Meanwhile, Ava was telling Jordynne Grace she is barred from the building, which she did announce earlier on X.com, and I said Blake Monroe invited her to front row seats to watch her debut, an in-ring debut. But Ava wasn't having any of it, and I think because of what happened, what Jordynne Grace did to Stevie Turner and Robert Stone. If I were Stevie Turner, please, you gotta be careful and stick with Evolve. You're doing a heck of a job there, Stevie Turner. Don't get into Jordynne Grace's way. As for Robert Stone, personally, he deserved it after what he was trying to do to TNA. And since Jordynne Grace used to work for that company, she kind of made him pay. So, hey, you know what I say about that, Robert Stone? Keep the mouth shut and stay out of Jordynne Grace's way. That's all I'm going to say on that matter. And And so Jayne, along with Fallon Henley and Jasmine Nix of Fatal Influence, addresses the Houston crowd about her winning the TNA Knockouts title this past Sunday. This will be operating as a fallout of Slammiversary Part 1. Part 2 will be obviously on TNA Impact. It's coming Thursday, which I will address at the end of this video. And she was talking. Here comes Lash Legend, who was the runner-up in that women's battle royal at Evolution, and she believes she should get a shot at either title. Jada Parker, you talk about two athletically gifted women in Lash Legend and Jada Parker. Jada Parker comes out and says, you know what? Y'all notice I'm coming after one of those titles as well. And then as they were about to confront each other, Jayne goes, we'll take care of it right now, get him. And Jayne throws a punch at Jada Parker. All five women were brawling. And Fatal Influence have retreated the ring at this point. Meanwhile, Lash Legend staring down at Jada Parker. Meanwhile, Javon Evans was taking some notes, and Ricky Starks asked him what he was doing. So I'm taking a note, coming to ideas, new moves, and then, they went over what Jasper Troy did to Ricky Starks at the Great American Bash, and he said Revolution's going to be televised. So, fist bumps, Ricky Saints is on his way. Meanwhile, No Quarter Catch Crew and Miles Bourne stopped on by to the pep talk Ren Sinclair as she gets ready for a match against the debuting Blake Monroe, while Alexis King was banging stuff around trying to get to Miles Bourne. What a dummy. What a dummy Alexis King is. Then Ricky Saints went one-on-one with Jasper Troy. Jasper Troy showed everyone why he was the winner of the LFG Season 1. But he got to the ring by a counter after choke slamming Ricky Saints through the grid of the ring entrance. Hopefully Ricky Saints is okay. Meanwhile, Trick Williams was talking to the High Rise about calling The Undertaker out. And then Javon Evans interrupts him and said, hey, is writing stuff down, but then as Trick Williams says, you better not stand in my way. Stay put back here. And then as the High Rise and Wesley was confronting him, Javon Evans goes, oh, this I gotta see. So, and now, as you know, I mentioned this last episode, of course, pioneer of the heavy metal music genre, Mr. Ozzy Osbourne has passed away at the age of 76. So, and since he was part of the WWE family, they did a little tribute on him when he helped. Now, how did he get part of the WWE universe? He's a big wrestling fan. Of course, he accompanied Captain Lou Albano as a co-manager as he co-managed his fellow countrymen, the British Bulldogs, Davey Boy Smith, Dynamite Kid, to their first tag team title victory over the Dream Team. That is Greg the Ham Valentine, Brutus Beefcake, managed by Luscious Johnny V or Luscious Johnny Valiant. And then he became a co-general manager alongside his wife Sharon as they made matches and did Raw's Got Talent, where Chris Masters did the peck dance, and Ozzy Osbourne famously said, buy that man a bra. But Sharon Osbourne loves it. That's Sharon Osbourne for you. Then Trick Williams addresses the Houston crowd about how he retained the TNA World title against Joe Hendry and Mike Santana, dissing them in the background. He said, what's next for Trick Williams? And he said, the man that carried two brands. And then he decided to address The Undertaker and his LFG team. Now, I'm going to give something straight here, Trick Williams. The LFG team did not squeal to The Undertaker. Undertaker called them. Does it ever occur to you, Trick Williams, the back of that brain of yours, that Undertaker could have watched the show last week, and he end up making that phone call to Shiloh Hill, Drake Moreau, and Bailey Humphrey and Danny Ray? Hello, Trick Williams. Anyone home in that brain of yours? My goodness. Of course, and then Trick Williams ends up calling, during his promo on The Undertaker, Trick Williams calls him soft. What is this guy thinking? What is his deal? What's your major malfunction, Trick Williams? That's the Undertaker you just dissed. And then he had a minute ago, Undertaker, get your butt out of here. We need to talk. I'm going, oh boy. It's not going to end well for you, Trick. It's not going to end well. You know, when it pertains to the Undertaker, here's the deal. Your big mouth could get you into trouble. Especially with the Undertaker. You know, Undertaker comes out, tries to give Williams some advice, and he goes, let me leave you one more bit of advice. Your butt is too light to step up to the OG. I'm like, oh. Undertaker got that right. If you're not careful, I will flip that switch. And I will make you famous. So Taker's about to leave the ring, so Trick Williams took a swing. Undertaker says, no way, boy. You're going up. You're going down. Kaboom. F around and find out. That's what happens. And Trick Williams went for a ride with a choke slam. And he got a look of fear in his face. You know, my advice to Trick Williams, next time, keep your mouth shut. When it pertains to The Undertaker. Let's talk about it, huh? I mean, even Undertaker addressed the fact that this Trick Williams is a little different than the Trick Williams he saw when he first won the NXT title. So all that gold has got inside Trick Williams' head. That's the problem, Undertaker. But don't worry, you took care of business. So I'm like, next time, Trick Williams, keep your mouth shut when it comes to the Den Men. So Fatal Influence tries to wonder what to do with Jada Parker and Lash Legend. And speaking of the Undertaker, his lovely wife Michelle McCool made an appearance, and she knows something about women factions or something. She goes, "Why don't you do this? Have Jasmine Nix face Jada Parker, and Fallon Henley takes Lash Legend." And then the girls are like, "That's a good idea, yeah, you know." I'm going to talk to Ava, which way obviously they're all like doing the Three Stooges bit. And I'm like, Fallon, Jasmine, Nix, you're in trouble. That's all I'm going to say. Then Ren Sinclair went one-on-one with the debuting Blake Monroe. Blake Monroe won the match. And then she was about to address the Houston crowd until Jordan Grace came from the stands and with a steel chair. Security was trying to stop her. But to no avail. She fights up security, but at ringside, Blake Monroe drops her on the DDT on the steel chair. That's not good. And then Ethan Page comes out to address the Houston crew, and he starts dissing America. And he's, making everything political. Oh my gosh, really? You're dissing our country, a country that gave you the freedom of speech, bro. And he says, I'm going to wear the North American title I can be proud of. And so he revealed a new title. It had the it still had the North American title logo on it, but it's in the belt buckles in Canadian. And then as he still continues to trash America and says Canada's better, Santino Marella comes out and he said, "You son of my gun." Yeah. He says, "Not all Canadians think like you do." And that's what Santino said, because Santino is from Canada, and which is really super cool. And so I'm going to see to it. I think you and I can go at it, and then challenges Ethan Page to a match. And then Ethan Page says, "No, we do it right now." And then as he's about to take his jacket off and get ready to go, here comes Santino Marella with a Cobra. He says, "No, you know what? Forget it. We'll do it next week." And so that match is made official. The NXT North American title will be on the line next week as Ethan Page defends it against Santino Marella. So we'll see what happens there. And then Trick Williams, who has been shaken by that chokeslam the Undertaker gave him, confronts Obafemi, and then as both men with their respective belts look on, Jacy Jayne says, "Excuse me, boys," as both belts. It seems like somebody has an idea. We shall see what happens. And then Javon Evans talks to Yoshiki Inamura, who's been asking Evans for advice. He says, "I'm only 21. No, I'm just kidding. Tell me what you know." And so Yoshiki Inamura was talking to Javon Evans. Meanwhile, No Quarter Cash Crew was talking about Sinclair's loss, and you know, Miles Bourne says, "You did well," and then Charlie Dempsey comes and go away. And then a voice goes, "No, Miles, don't go away. Stay put." Bubba Ray Dudley. And then he goes over to Rand Sinclair. "I'm proud of you. I love you." And then he goes over, make him a suggestion. "I'm going to go to Ava to get this match happen. Tavon Heights wins. He leaves No Quarter Catch Crew. But if Charlie Dempsey wins, Tavion Heights stays." And is that a deal? Yes. And they shake hands. Then Alexis King finally confronts Miles Bourne, telling him he's a fraud, he's not really deaf, and all that. He says, "You know what? I think some people would rather have you be a mute," and ends up walking away. Meanwhile, on the phone, now this is from Raw, Roman Reigns did a video addressing Jey Uso while he was running on a treadmill, and they said, "We need to challenge Solo Sikoa and either member of the MFTs to a tag match at SummerSlam. Ball's in your court, Jey Uso." Now for the main event, the NXT title on the line in a triple threat match. No brother, no water, no bread, just meat. Obafemi defending against Josh Briggs and Yoshiki Inamura. And Obafemi once again added another match to his long record-breaking reign of the NXT Championship. And then Javon Evans was taking notes, watching the match. And Undertaker says, "Still final line, what's next for you?" And Javon Evans is like, yeah. And he goes, trying to take out the next big dog in the yard. And Javon Evans, I don't blame him. If the Undertaker, you're taking notes on the match, and the Undertaker walked in there, I'd be like, "Haba, haba, 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 hoba, haba, hoba, goodbye." Well, if somebody's hot like Zarya or Tony Storm, Harley Cameron walked in the room and saw me, I'm going, "Haba, haba, 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 haba," that type of deal. Like, what happened? I screwed up my words, Anyways. So, oh boy. What happened? I screwed up my words, folks. A beautiful girl walking in, like, ooh, ah, ee, ooh, ah, ting, tang, walla, bing, bang. Oh boy. That's all I gotta say. Yeah, so we'll see what happens next week on NXT. It's gonna be very interesting, to say the least. And the second part of Fallout for Slammiversary will be at TNA, obviously. So we got a lot to talk about in the upcoming weeks. But Trick Williams, if you're watching this, my advice to you: when it comes to the Undertaker, keep your mouth shut. That's all I'm gonna say. Should have kept it shut last week. And you decided to keep running that mouth of yours, and you got what you deserved. So, we'll see what happens there. So, since Obafemi retained the title, will Javon Evans be the next challenger? Will we see another double title with Trick Williams? Who knows? I don't know. We'll see what happens there. So, that's all the time we have on the show, episode 2409. Tomorrow we're going to have the Joker's Wild. And we have Evolve and Dynamite going on, so it'll be great to see. So, I will see you guys later. You guys have a wonderful day, and until next episode comes rolling around, Mr. Announcer, take us home. That is all for today's episode of the show. This is Mr. Announcer speaking for Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977. A Big Beefy E and door for Bob Saget production, and in association with a Raving Bull for 3000 Telepictures and Distribution. Thank you for watching another episode of Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977. See you later on the next episode of the show. Goodbye for now.